Hello and welcome to Movie Mandates. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is the show where my brother and I force each other to watch a movie based on a specific monthly theme. It's December, and we watched There's a Sequel? Movies. And on our previous episode, we watched Brothers Pick, which was The Odd Couple 2. But today we are going to talk about my mandated movie, From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money. It's a long title.
Which doesn't take place in Texas.
So,
I mean, mostly.
We'll
and
get
it
there.
doesn't really have anything to do with blood money.
There's
Money's
blood
involved. There is blood.
That's what I'm
They
thinking. There's
start in Texas, I think, but
there's a little bit of Texas. There's a whole lot of blood, some money involved. But before we get all of that, I'm the queen of segues. My brother gets to challenge me in a segment we call Trivial Trivia.
Okay, so I was going to go into some highfalutin discussion of put you on the spot and make you dissertate on the theory of sequel stories. But because we watched a vampire movie, I just really I'm going to ask you a trivia question that I just want to know the answer to because I don't know what it is. So here's the question. Why, nay, how are vampires
sexy?
I don't get it. Explain this to me. Explain the sex appeal of vampires.
So I believe, and this is something, I believe that it was Mr. Bram Stoker because he has a harem. Like within the book, the actual book, like Mina and Lucy fall in love with him. Lucy might not, but Mina does. He falls in love with her, and he in that book he actually like seduces her. I don't know how. I forget exactly how, but like I know that there's like voices involved, and I know he specifically has a harem of ladies who are just, and I think that is the book that made him very lusty. And I think that was what created the whole, well, I guess if we can get Tom Cruise and Antonio Banderas and Brad Pitt in some long wigs, then we can really, strike while it's hot. Not that Interview with the Vampire and Bram Stoker's Dracula were written at the same
Gary
time.
Oldman? What?
Yeah. But yeah, so because my introduction was through Dracula, the adaptation, the stage play.
Okay.
The stage play. So I've seen.
I was like, what, the Coppola movie or?
No, in fact, I didn't see that. I know you went.
Have you never seen it?
No.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because you gave me a review, and perhaps it's always very interesting to share a memory and then see what your side of this memory is about to be. But you went to it. This is true, yes?
I've seen it, yes, on the theater. We got, it was one of those early previews that the radio stations or whatever were given away. So we saw it. We saw a sneak preview of it.
Right, and I recall. I obviously didn't go. Why I didn't go, I can't.
Maybe we didn't have enough tickets. I don't know. Maybe we only had 2 tickets.
But I recall your review of the cinematography being lovely, and that was all you had good to say.
Sounds like something I might have levied against the movie, particularly when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Well, sure. And then so to this day, it's been one of those things that I'm just like, oh, I hear nothing good, and my nothing good comes from you.
Well, it's sure pretty.
It's sure lovely to look at. But I mean,
yeah,
it is true.
Coppola got an eye. I think he's going places.
Yeah, what a guy. I mean, having not seen. Oh, did you see it? He just flew by. So having not seen it, I can still attest that Keanu Reeves is the incorrect Jonathan Harker.
Yes, he is particularly. I mean, he's Keanu Reeves. He's adorable, but he is genuinely bad in the film.
I am fascinated by that man.
Keanu
I
Reeves.
find him, yes,
Hmm.
everything about him fascinates me. I mean, just his trajectory into where he has like it fascinates me because and I am a big fan. Let me put that out here because I know he listens. No, like um he shouldn't be a star.
Hmm.
If you look at the early oeuvre, he has there's no reason that he should have been as successful. He's so much better now than he used to be, but I think that practice, I'm sure that Sofia Coppola would be a great actress by now if people maybe kept casting her and trying to give her
Yeah,
little hints
I
here
mean,
and there.
he
But
was
like,
early Keanu Reeves definitely did what he needed to do in his projects. But if you think about it, did Bill and Ted the film succeed on the back of Keanu Reeves? No.
no.
It succeeded on the back of a very fun premise. Now, Keanu Reeves is definitely he's not an anchor on the an albatross around the neck of that movie. Not at all. But also, is he really why Point Break was such a hit back that? No. And again,
No.
he's fine. There's nothing
Again,
wrong with him. But he was
Parenthood,
not the
he's
reason.
a dumbass in
Yeah.
that too.
Well, I mean, he's a third string character in that one, but yeah.
Sure, sure.
Although he is pretty memorable in his bit part.
Yeah, he proposes to Martha Plimpton. Even I remember that moment, and I don't remember much about the movie except for his dumbassery. And I even think she like hits him and is like, "You dumbassery-ish."
That's Todd.
And then there was a mother that ate like candy in the closet, and I
That was
remember,
Rick Moranis's wife. I forget
yeah,
who the actor is, but yeah.
I don't remember, but I was like, she eats candy in the closet. That seems weird. And I'm like, I have
I
candy in
get
this
it
desk.
now.
I have candy in this desk because it's the stuff that my kids don't get to eat.
I'm eating this to get
This
back
is
at you. Mm.
okay. So I don't do it that way,
Right. Well,
but I
that's
do
what
have
she
my
was doing in the
yes,
film.
but
Yeah.
I do have my stash of candy that is Kelly's candy
Okay,
and
but
not the kids' candy.
to
So
me,
no,
a
so the
vampire
vampire.
is a creature that is either going to kill you or enslave you. So I don't get it. Why is that
So
sexy? It's like,
okay, so here's another thing.
oh, bite
There's
me.
also the
What?
idea of if it immortality but non-aging. And obviously, like so here's another thing. If I just stopped aging right now, I might be fine. But like I went through some weird ages that I didn't look so hot. And I would hate to like maybe become a vampire at 60 and then be like, so this is what I now have to look like. You have to like kind of hit at that prime. But when we think of immortality, somehow we always go straight to youthful beauty. Like no one thinks of this guy who is like 400 years old and he's like, I just can't die.
Or
Like for
it's like
some,
I was turned into a vampire in my teenage years when my acne was at its worst, and
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
now
Like
forever like this. Yeah.
so it takes that part of the lore of like if you have immortality for some ass reason, you also have
Youth and
the
beauty.
fountain of youth, and yeah, like that's kind of how we experience our mentality of that. So that's and
They touch on that a
hot.
little bit in Interview with the Vampire with whatever the young character's name is, Kirsten Dunst's character.
Yeah, I forget her name.
Susan.
No. Like I can tell you all the Dracula names because that is one that I know, but I don't think
Lestat. Is it Lestat?
I think it's
Okay.
yeah. And then Armand, I don't remember what I think it is Armand Antonio Banderas' name.
Wait a minute. Isn't Christian Slater in that movie?
Yes, he is. However, in his defense, River was cast first and then unfortunate things happened. But Christian Slater is very River-esque and or vice versa because I was always pro Slater, still am. And what makes me happy is that Sophia also thinks he's hot. And I'm like, see, I had good taste as a child. And the other one is, now I've never had anyone puncture my neck with their teeth, and I hope that I never, ever, 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 ever have that happen. But the intimacy of, like, you know, him being Dracula and or a vampire, like coming up and, like, you know, being that, like, it just is like titillating.
Okay, so
it's titillating.
Yeah, I guess neck nibbles are a part of foreplay. So this is just.
I love how you throw your hands up. You're like, I guess.
I read.
If you need to blow in her ear or something, go for it. So yeah, I think that it started.
I'm like trying to imagine having sex with me, and I'm like, that must be the most miserable experience. It's like, oh my God, what did you do? Learn all this shit in a book?
Ding ding ding. That's crazy.
This is the most boring clinical lovemaking I've ever experienced.
Oh my God.
It's so horrible.
Oh my God. So yeah, I blame Brom. Like, I think, you know, because Nosferatu obviously didn't
Mr.
you know,
Chiclet Teeth.
Yeah, no skirts.
That one wasn't sexy,
man.
yeah.
No. But and there are definitely two types of vampires within movies. Like, that's the thing that I also
the suave, I'm Count Dracula. I'm very classy, and then there's the just the big monster that unhinges its jaw and eats your face.
Right. And other than Renfield, there's never an in between. There's never like just some pokey dokey, like like, you know, like there's not just a dude who happens to, you know, like just, you know, like you said, an acne riddled dude. Like, there is no in between. They are either hideous monsters that almost have bat like faces, like in this movie, and they're like, you know, and like definitely not
they go
kissable.
Full monster face, yeah.
But they're just like, you know, sparkly in the sunshine, gorgeous or something. Like, there's no in between of. I want to find that just.
I don't know. So, some of the actors who have been in Dusk Till Dawn, you know, they give them the big monster face, and then you look from neck down, and you're like, still.
Well, Selma will have, I don't care.
Salma Hayek.
She could put a paper bag on her head, and I'd be like, that's cool.
It's like, I mean, she went all monster face, but I mean, that's only 10%. Yeah, I can work with the other 90. It's fine.
I can work with this. Just give her a ball gag. We'll be fine. You know, this is all good. So, yes, this is all true. So yeah, I don't know. And I think I am in the hot vampire boat. However, I will say Twilight nearly killed it. I don't, because I enjoy Mr. Robert Pattinson now.
Underrated actor.
Yeah, he has.
So is Kristen Stewart. She's great too.
Yes, she's fantastic. They were obviously not given good material.
No.
Because no one would have ever guessed those two could act after those movies. But yeah, both fine actors. But I was in that movie. I was like, what does he see in her? What does she see in him? They are both so milquetoast. It's not even funny. In this story? And vampires. I was drawn. I never saw more than the first one. I didn't go on. I was like, you know what?
You were like, I'm out.
I'm out. I'm out.
Nope. I noped right out of Twilight.
I know. Yeah, especially when I heard that she didn't go for the Taylor Lautner character. I was like, well, this is obviously not realistic. I'm out. So, and I know you have your Taylor Lautner feelings that you feel like someone hit him in the face with a board or something.
Yeah, you know, I have no problem with him.
I'm sure he's a nice fellow.
You know, Shark Boy is fine, but yeah, I mean, if I had to pick between him and Robert Pattinson, I'm Team Edward all the way. Sparkliness be damned. Yeah, I'm indoors all the time, so it's fine.
You basically glitter, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there you go.
Yeah, Edward and his family look at me and said, "Damn, you're pale." What the hell is wrong with? Are you sure he's not one of us?
Are we okay? They get out the family tree. They're like, where is he? Where is this guy?
We got a 23andMe or whatever the hell that genealogy service is and figure this out. Like, no,
Oh my
mortal,
goodness.
just pale. All right.
There you go. There you go. So here's the thing. You and I covered this when we spoke the other week, and I don't remember if we covered it in the recording or if just offline you and I just kind of chatted about it, that there's a reason that maybe haven't heard of the sequels of this movie. So when I was also like looking it up to find out where it's playing, and I think you told me this too, and it completely, I blocked it out because I just am like, this can't be real. There's a third one. And I'm just like, this can't be real. This is, and then, yeah, so.
And it does the Back to the Future 3 thing. Because Back to the Wild West, it's a prequel. Yeah. I think it's the origin story of Salma Hayek's character.
Oh.
Different actor, if I remember right, but
well, sure. Even in this one, they have. I mean, it's not supposed to be her at all, but I'm just saying they have the snake woman just dancing for a moment.
They have a woman with a snake. Yes, I don't know if that's supposed to be.
I don't think
Susan Pandemonium or whatever the hell the character's name is.
I don't think so. I think it's just a
woman with a snake.
Just a thing, and it was.
But Danny Trejo's there, so.
Love him. Love me some Danny. So who is in this that is in the first one?
Danny Trejo.
That's the beginning, middle, and end.
Yes,
okay, no one, fantastic.
I mean, they do mention the Gecko brothers, the Tarantino and George Clooney's characters from the original. The younger police officer in Mexico, he is
the mustachio guy.
No, not the younger one, the kid.
Okay.
He is did he have a mustache? I don't even remember, but he's the son of the police officer who played by Michael Parks in the first movie in the convenience store.
Okay.
Where he comes in and he talks to the guy behind the counter, and the Gecko brothers just shoot him because they were like, hey, he was signaling him and stuff. That guy, right? Michael Parks' character. Okay. This kid is the son of that character. Oh, okay. And the actor is also Michael Parks' son. So.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
So interesting tie. I think Tarantino and Rodriguez produced this, were executive producers, or did some story treatment or something.
Did they?
Yeah, they were somewhat involved, at least. I'm trying to remember what I saw in the credits. What's funny is I know I've seen this before, but I only had a memory of like one damn thing from the entire movie, and it's the artistic discussion of pornography.
Oh my gosh. So that just
I remembered that. And that was like the only memory I had of the movie.
I absolutely loved that scene.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
One of the few. So the movie, when it starts with Tiffany Amber Thiessen and Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, yeah.
In an elevator, getting killed by bats, but like, they're scientists and they're doing things. And I said to Jeremy while we were sitting there, I go, this is a movie within a movie, isn't it? Like, I was like, no,
it is. For literally no reason.
No reason at all.
Absolutely none.
Other than to just misdirect you and add more blood.
Give Tiffany Thiessen and Bruce Campbell something to do.
Yeah.
And start off with some vampires rather than waiting until the 50-minute mark like Dusk Till Dawn does.
Sure.
Although it does open with violence, so.
But no, so
and I have to say, surprisingly, the CG bats, particularly in that first scene, are pretty well done. Of course, that's in comparison to the goofiest looking bat puppets I think I've ever seen.
There was a lot of goofiness. Like, it was so when the first scene started, the movie within a movie, I was like, hey, this is a movie within a movie. And I knew it for multiple reasons. The set, the cast, the dialogue, everything. I'm like, this is not the movie. This is something else. Mm-hmm. And so
also, these two are not on the poster. So
because the only other thing it could possibly be would be like a Scream type opening where Drew Barrymore, just gets hacked in the first 5 minutes. Spoilers.
Yep.
But yeah, it has nothing.
For
It
a
has
movie
nothing
that's
to do with
approaching
anything.
30 years old now.
But which one? This one? This is
Scream.
99.
Scream.
Oh yeah,
Scream was 96, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And they have what? Now they're in the 7th movie?
They just did 6, and I know they're doing 7. I haven't seen 5 or 6. I saw 4.
I hear they've gotten better. Like there was a but I hear that 6 was better, that it kind of brought it back.
No idea.
I don't know. The point is that yes, there are so the beginning was like B movie, but for a reason. Like it was like the effects and the graphics of the movie within a movie. I was like, okay, they're going campy, and maybe that like and like the birds like hanging the bats like hanging on her and whatnot. And I thought it'll get better, but truly, like that quality of attack was what went through the movie, and possibly in some moments less so. And I was like, there's some
I'll give
differences
kudos
of scale.
to some of the wire work in the climax of the movie with people flying around after standing near explosions. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. They're doing some really nice wire pulls with people falling off stuff or being blown away or being thrown over stuff. Vampires do so like to throw people.
There is a lot. But so the main conceit of the movie, I think I can make this short.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm not going to get
but go ahead.
I know. I'm me. I'm not going to remember their names, but that's okay. So Robert Patrick, his buddy Luther, gets out of jail or escapes jail or
escapes from jail.
He does escape. Okay, so he gets out of jail his own, merits. And he's on the lam.
Yeah.
And Luther tells his buddy Robert Patrick, I got
luck.
Yes. Thank you. I got a good plan. Get a crew together. We're going to get a lot of money and, be done. And so Buck's
Which does not include his girlfriend. So I don't know what her point in the movie was. She didn't do anything.
No.
I don't recognize the actor. So I don't know if it was a cameo. I mean, she was perfectly fine. Her delivery was solid. She had good screen presence.
She's pretty, everything.
Yeah, but she's just like
the role. She fit in.
Like, okay, bye.
Yeah, there was a definite okay, bye. So then Robert Buck goes to get a crew, and he gets some I don't know what Latino guy he is, but he is some roided up, crazy-eyed, just like machismo guy. They get him, and then they get an older dude, not older, but like 50. Not bad, but like he's like the safe cracker guy. And then they get
grizzled old cowboy.
Yeah, grizzled. Yeah, like I've seen some shit old. That's what I mean. And then they get whiny bitch. And so machismo,
whose job was gonna be, I don't know why.
Here's my query. So like let's do a lot of fast forwarding. So like that's the whole conceit. Luther says, get me a crew. Buck is like, I got you a crew. I got machismo, I got old grizzled guy,
got the muscle, got the safe cracker, and I've got the screw up who's whiny and doesn't do anything.
This guy.
Okay.
So we're good to go.
I mean, he's not the driver. Now, granted, they ultimately don't go with whatever the original plan was going to be, but I still have no idea what.
And that's the thing. So there's the movie goes on, and they do go through with this robbery, not in the way it was planned, but however, nowhere in the movie do they ever explain what each of these people do, other than the safecracker guy. Safecracker?
Yeah.
But like
Cracks
the muscle guy, one would assume, okay,
he's the muscle.
He's the muscle.
He beats people up when people need beaten.
But like Luther is the mastermind, but
He's the mastermind,
but he
sure.
also is like there very much. A lot of
Yeah.
times the mastermind, like, anyways.
One
So, like,
more set of hands to help clear out the vault. But
even
what's
Buck,
this fifth wheel do?
I don't even know what Buck's plan was,
I
other
mean,
than to
yeah,
like,
one more pair of hands to help clean out the vault. Fine.
and I
But I don't
think
know
that
what this fifth wheel wet blanket dude is for.
yeah, I was like, I'm confused as to what like, so what, somewhere in there needed to be some sort of like, I mean, Ocean's 11 made 11 people work. Like,
Yeah.
these people can't even make 5 do it.
Yeah,
So
you don't walk out of any of the Ocean's films like, but why was Matt Damon there? What was his job?
exactly. Like, I think yeah. Um shoot. So yeah, so within the scope of getting the crew together and going to rob said bank, of course they each individually like turn into vampires because they get attacked. Luther is the first, and then Luther turns machismo, and then they turn whiny ape.
Then the safe cracker.
Oh, and the
then
safe cracker, and then the whiny ape. But the thing is when they are turned into a vampire,
mm-hmm.
they somehow retain memories, personality, everything, but only Machismo guy, as crazy as he is and was, and his character made like no sense. He just kind of was psychotic. He almost seems like he doesn't know who he is once he becomes a vampire. Like, he does it takes him,
he's almost like kind of zombie-ish. Yeah,
he's almost zombie-ish. I feel as if like he doesn't know who he is quite. Like, he's like, how am I supposed to act? Like, the very first thing he says, and I can't recall, I will tell you the best joke in the movie though. I can't recall what he says when his first lines, but it's definitely, it reminds me of what is that Vincent D'Onofrio, where his skin is fall in the Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Yeah, when he kind of doesn't know who he's supposed to be because he just took over this guy's body. So like, that's kind of how. And then you have Luther, who's like, I'm on it, I'm my smarmy self, everything's fine.
It's like, well, I'm a vampire now.
Yeah, and
still gonna rob
like,
a bank, but I better do it before the sun comes up.
So I give so yes, so like, I don't understand the turning of the vampire, because I'm like, are you the same person, or like, it wasn't portrayed.
There's a little bit of a lack of consistency, but generally it seems to be you get turned and you are the same person. You're just a vampire, but also evil. You don't like, there's one cop gets bit and turned, the one lady cop.
Yeah.
And she's just instant monster.
Yeah.
I think she'd be like, shit, I'm still shooting and arresting your ass.
Yeah, like,
even
it doesn't
though I'm
enhance.
a vampire, we're not family.
That makes sense. It doesn't enhance who you are.
Just it's
yeah.
They didn't really think about that much.
Inconsistencies. However, I do appreciate, and I told you this would be short because there's not much to talk about, but I will say the 2, 3, 4 things that I'll say that I appreciate. I do appreciate at the end when Robert Patrick Buck and the police officer Otis are speaking, and Otis is like, what do vampires need to rob a bank for anyways? And I'm like, thank you, you said it. And I was like, at least they acknowledge that even they have no idea why the bank robbery continues forward, like, quote unquote, goes according to plan. Like, it happens, they rob the bank,
still gotta buy clothes,
but and that's the thing, still that was so funny. Rent. And that was what was so funny, is that,
and a shit ton of sunscreen.
And that's what Buck says. He's like, well, I guess they need money just like anybody else. And I'm just like, this is so strange though, because like, the rules of engagement, I feel, have just
also gone out. The way the vampires worked in the first movie are a little bit different, because Fred Williamson, or him, and Tom Savini both make a point that the vampires in Dusk Till Dawn, the first one, they're strong, but they're physically kind of soft and squishy. Like you can just punch straight through them. You can knock their you hit them hard enough and you'll impale them and knock their heads off. You can't really drive a stake through a human sternum. There's bone here. It's really difficult to do that. But as they point out, these vampires, they're soft and squishy. You can put your fist through them you hit them hard enough. The ones in the sequel, not so much. They're not very squishy.
No,
they're just pretty strong.
Yeah, they're just.
And I don't recall if
bricks.
anyone in the first movie. Well, there are bats in the first. Yeah, I guess they can transform into bats. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the first one.
It's been very long.
So yeah, that's the premise. A bunch of bank robbers from Texas go down to Mexico to rob a bank. Luthor, they're waiting in a hotel for him. Luthor is going to meet him there. He breaks down, walks over to the Titty Twister, the bar from the first movie, gets turned, meets
Danny
Trejo, gets turned into a vampire, and then continues on to the motel, which is another funny joke. It's like El Coyote. Hey, what's that mean in Spanish?
The coyote.
The coyote. Yeah.
I like. However, the best line in the movie was when the cops come in, when the girl who Machismo had sex with gets murdered in the tub, and he goes, "It's a bloodbath," and I was like, yeah.
That's pretty funny. Who was in the tub though?
The woman that he had sex with.
But he turned her into a vampire. What did she go take a nap in the tub?
She gets out.
Yeah. As a vampire.
Yeah, but she was. So here's what happened. I'm going to explain the scene to you because it makes so much sense.
Because he's hiding in the bathroom from Luthor, and she raises up out of the tub behind him.
Yes, but
her death scene is really weird because the bat is attacking her in the shower, and then it leaves, and then she just kind of like, slumps. Oh, I'm dying. Let me press my face against the curtain and slump into the. It
made no sense, but like also, so Machismo guy and he falls asleep afterwards, and apparently he
sleeps
falls
like you
into the deepest slumber anyone has ever been in, because she gets up and takes a shower, a bat gets in, attacks her and kills her, and she screams throughout the entire thing, and he doesn't wake up until, so she has fallen now into the bath with the curtain, and the shower has filled the bath, like a shower has filled the bath so much that it is now overflowing. And Machismo guy wakes up and is like, oh, there's bloody water coming out of the bathroom. And that's when Luthor makes himself known, right. I think. So, and then he goes into the bathroom to hide from Luthor. She now turns. So that's another thing that is not, because some people turn real quick, but she was laying down in the bottom of the tub, presumably dead for in the world. Yeah, for the world that was maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, but like minutes. Whereas like when Pussyfoot gets turned at the end, it's immediate.
But again, when the cops are there, who's in the tub? Her? She's a vampire. Why is she still in the tub?
Her head.
Did she get her head knocked off? Oh.
Yes. She got her head sliced off, and the head fell into the tub.
Oh, right. It was the mirror gag where which was actually a good gag.
Yeah.
Where he's got her by the neck and face, and then he looks in the mirror and there's no reflection, so he's just standing there like this, and the camera's still on the mirror with him pantomiming holding something, and he just slams nothing into the mirror and the mirror explodes. I'm like, you know what? Kudos. That was a good gag.
I'll give you it. Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
One.
I actually really enjoyed a few of those reflection type gags. I was
lot of reflection motif in let me say something nice about the movie. The movie's terrible, but
terrible.
The DP was working his ass off. I am going to do something special with this, and oh my god, this guy's like, I am going to put this on my demo reel.
There was not a single just like regular shot.
I'm
There was
not
not
just gonna
a
shoot
single
stuff. Someone doing push-ups, I'm gonna do a point of view of push-ups and just go up and down like this. I'm going to do a POV from inside a vampire's mouth as they bite someone's neck. I'm like, you know what? I admire this guy.
I'm like, if I do another point of view shot, everyone had a point of view shot. Even Luther, and he does like, he flicks his hat and is a
Yeah,
point of view
the
of him
hat is in
flicking
the
his
frame.
I'm like, what is happening? Every now and then there was one or two that I'm like, well, that's a kind of fun one. But every single scene had to have something, either a POV shot or it's tracking a fan going back and forth,
Or a
and
weird
or it's
reflection,
tracking
or a weird
the
camera
this,
move,
or
or
it's
shooting through
or
a
through
pool of
glass
blood.
of some sort, or watching
Or
you
shooting the
drink, and so
reflection in
everything,
a
everything.
pool of red
Puddle.
blood,
Yeah.
split diopter shots, you know, panning to follow it's actually
fan.
tracking the van while a desert critter goes the other way. I'm like, you know what? The DP was really thinking about this stuff and trying to be inventive. And it's like, I mean, if you're going to experiment, this is a pretty good, safe movie to do it on, I suppose.
Yeah, but I was like, he's like, I always
It's
want to try
way
this.
too much,
I
and too
always
much
wanted
of
to
it's
try this.
repeated.
You know what? I've always wanted to try this. You know what? I've also wanted to try this.
Yeah.
So you're like, come on, dude. Yeah, he went above and beyond, man.
Yeah, I was genuinely impressed by the sheer gumption of the director of photography for this movie.
Those, like, I wonder what it looks like inside a mouth when a flesh is being bitten. I'm like, I've never wondered that ever. Like,
it's like now you get to see it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not a thing that I've ever felt like I was missing, and now that I've seen it, I don't feel any more fulfilled.
It's still inventive. It's something. It reminded me of a genuinely great shot in the Meg 2, the gianter shark movie.
Yeah.
There's a great bit where the shark is just hoovering up a bunch of people in a harbor where the big party, lots of people in the hundreds of people in the water, and the shark's just hoovering them all up like a whale of swallowing a big batch of krill, right? But the camera is way back in the shark's throat, so you just see these big teeth in front of the camera. You remember in Little Shop of Horrors, the dentist song where you have the mouth opens and the camera's back in someone's throat.
That is a good way. I liked that.
Same thing, but you see people being kind of washed into the shark's mouth and goes chomp. Everything. It's PG-13. It's almost all in silhouette, so you can't really see anything. Opens back up, more people come washing in, chomp. I'm like, you know what? That's pretty good. The movie is still terrible, which made me very sad, because I was genuinely pleasantly surprised by the first Meg. The second one's pretty awful.
Did I tell you that I saw Little Shop? Did I tell you about that? I watched it.
The stage performance of it, or
yes.
Oh, okay. Nope, I don't think you mentioned that.
So I didn't mention it. I think the movie was better, and I hate saying that, but I had heard, and this has nothing to do with anything, but you brought it up, brother. So now we're gonna go down that avenue. So obviously in the original work, the plants win.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I believe you mentioned to me that there was an original ending to the movie in which, like, the plants won, but it didn't test well, and so they had to redo the ending.
Yeah, Audrey and Seymour get eaten and the plants take over the world. Yeah.
And
that was shot.
Yeah, I know. But I never realized that was the real, like, the original ending. I thought that was the director or writers being like, what we should do is, because we can be more, in movie form, we can go further than maybe they can on stage or whatever. And so I thought that they tried it for the movie, and people were like, boo, no, please bring back the regular ending. And so then they made the happy ending. And then when I saw the stage show, I was like, oh, that was a very correct test audience, my friends. A very correct test audience.
Yeah. you can do that tonally. That's not the ending. At the end of that particular story, the way it's told, that's not the ending you want. It's not satisfying.
Yeah.
The original story was meant to be a cautionary tale, showing the consequences for hubris and sacrificing your morals for personal gain and stuff like that. But the movie is just way too damn, or the story, the musical is just too damn charming and fun to allow such an ending to be satisfying.
It has two problems. Number one, the finale song "Don't Feed the Plants" is not a good song.
It's not that great.
But
especially
number two,
after a string of bangers that show's soundtrack is. Yeah, Don't Feed the Plants is not great.
I also blame Rick Moranis. He's too likable.
Yes.
You can't kill Rick you can't.
Yep.
You will have a mutiny.
And as it was originally shot, they went full kaiju with multiple Audrey 2s knocking over buildings and stuff. It's great. And audiences were like, I don't care. You killed Seymour and Audrey. I don't like it now. I'm mad at you.
Maybe they should have cast Tobey Maguire and then no one would care. So
wrong but back era. To Texas Blood Money.
So yeah, so the good news is that, well, actually, they set something up at the beginning of the movie, which does pay off at the end, but pays off in the stupidest way ever. They mention
sunglasses.
The sunglasses.
That's
are
the
hilarious.
Weirdest damn. It's so unnecessary. It's the weirdest damn thing. I'm like, wait, did he just? He did, but that's not how light works.
Yeah. But so they did the eclipse of the sun.
Was that set up? Was there any point in the beginning of the movie where they talk about a solar eclipse? Oh, okay. I totally. I'm like, it's so pointless. I'm like, did they even set this up? What is this for? So
that's another one. See, it all comes back to Little Shop because there's a total eclipse of the sun. Total eclipse of the sun. Woo!
It got very dark. Yep.
They mention it. It's either.
Is it like in the news report where he's watching TV? I think
it's in the news when he's doing the flipping, because when it happens in the movie, I went, oh, that's funny. As in, I knew that, I forgot that I knew that was coming. So at the end, they're robbing the bank and everyone's turning. And of course, our hero/anti-hero Buck is the one who has not.
Well, he's out of the game now. Yeah. He's trying to go straight. They pull him back in. He doesn't want to kill anybody. But
no, he gets mad that Luther killed someone, actually. So he's holding out, man, and he's trying real hard, and the sun starts to come up, and so some of the vampires boil into green kind of ooze, and you're like, oh, that just seems terrible when the sun hits them. So they're like, yes, we're gonna win. And then this eclipse happens, and I thought, oh, that's good. That's thoughtful, because now it gives them another little window. Yeah, but it gave them the longest freaking window.
Yeah. The moon just walked in front of the sun and stopped,
and it parked itself there.
Parked its ass there for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
I was like,
and it didn't just. When there's a total eclipse of the sun, it is not nighttime levels of dark outside. Also,
oh boy.
Number one, that's not how eclipses work, because the moon and stuff still moving. Everything's still rotating and moving.
Well, and it doesn't work that fast either. If that's how fast it came in front, it's going to leave that fast too, because that's how it works.
Exactly. It's a transit. It doesn't move in front and stop. But also, if there's a full moon that night, you can't have a total eclipse of the sun the next day, because the moon is literally on the wrong side of the planet. Of course, if the moon can just stop, the moon was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be over there, and then got in front of the sun and stopped. It was like,
and it was like, minute. I'll
20 minutes. Just give me 20 minutes to catch my breath.
20-minute break.
But I mean, I don't get the total eclipse of the. I
hurts.
Set up though it may be, it's pointless. It's like, oh no, the sun is coming up. Oh no, total eclipse for the next 20 minutes. So it may as
and
well
that's
just
the thing.
still be dark.
It is pointless. Why? That's why I thought I at first was like, good on you, writers. You brought it back. Because I had missed the full moon thing until you just said, I'm like, you're freaking right. There was a full moon. They totally talked about that too, and it didn't even hit because I was waiting for the eclipse.
There's nice big shots of it too.
Oh, so there's that too. But nice, yeah. So I just thought because there was a quite the melee right before it gets light, and so they go in, and then like the vampires go back into the bank, and then it gets dark again. And I thought, oh, it's going to be like a really quick last stand. Like it's going to be.
Yeah, we're narrowing down.
This is it.
We're a tooth and nail it here in an enclosed space. No.
And it literally did just okay. We're back. We're back to the fighting now. And I was like, well, then
status quo has been reestablished. Continue.
Then you may proceed.
Yeah,
but yeah, it definitely was.
So Robert Patrick steals Otis's mirrored shades at the very beginning of the film, and it comes back at the very end of the film. You see. Because now there's one vampire left, and the sun is up, but the vampire is running away on, I guess, the shady side of the building. So Robert Patrick, Buck, walks around the corner, and it's not really clear. I had to put this together after it happened.
It was weird.
But the vampire is just running away and explodes. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, I think Robert Patrick used the mirrored shades to reflect the sun into the running away vampire. I'm like, but the sun's right there. It's hitting him anyway. But
that's what I was wondering. I was wondering about that because I thought to myself, he just explodes. Is it bad timing with the sun? Did someone like I was like, yeah. And then, pardon me, I gulped some water and now it's gonna make me burp. I said earlier that they got all oozy when the sun hits them, and there was, I believe it was Luther sitting in the driver's seat of the car that has all the money from the bank, and then I was about to say the lights come on, but they don't. The sun comes on, and Luther oozes, and then at the very end, when
of course didn't they put film, tinting on all the windows?
One would assume they should have.
I mean, they did. I remember them.
Well, then they should have had extra strength tint.
Yeah. Also, Luther took the keys away, and then Robert Patrick I didn't see him pick up the keys at any point. He just gets.
Were they not in the car?
Well, no, because one of the vampires is I think it's the muscle guy. He gets in and he's like gonna drive. It's like, no, you don't. He takes the keys and
that's right. It's the muscle guy who gets squished in the front seat, because when Buck gets in and drives away at the end in his heroic, I'm leaving the game, but I'm taking the loot. Yeah. You'll never have to come for me again. He just gets in and drives away. I forgot about the keys. I was more focused on the fact that there is ooze. You are now sitting in boiled body
vampire puddle
fluids. Like, and the skeleton comes out, like they open the door and like they do like what is supposed to be a scream of like from like a haunted house, like the skeleton in the
doesn't
front seat.
Scare Robert Patrick though. He's like, no.
It didn't scare me either, because I was like, there's a dead body in that front seat, or there's dead ooze in that front seat. Yep. And it was just the I don't know what I think I'm gonna write down. It was just the it was just the skeleton, and they gets in and I'm like, oh, like I don't like to sit in other people's butt warmth on the sofa until it has dissipated. Like, theaters, I don't want to sit in someone's
airplane
ooze.
chairs. Yeah,
I know.
Someone's been farting on the seat. I can feel the warmth.
I know that things happened in that seat before me. I don't need to feel the things that have happened in that seat before me. That's all I ask.
We skipped past it, but I wanted to mention Muscle Guy's overly enthusiastically athletic lovemaking, because he was bouncing on that woman like she was a damn trampoline. I mean, he was getting air. He's like bouncing up and down like a good foot and a half.
I was watching that.
I hope the springs on that bed are. I hope that is a soft bed because she's probably going to be bruised as hell.
Oh, like I was like, I would hate to not.
That's
to
how I
that,
expect Tigger to make love. Boing, boinky, boinky, boinky. Yeah.
But also, like it's not. That's not enjoyable. See, that's what the men should have been critiquing was his lovemaking and not some porno.
See,
that, by the way, was the exact same moment over and over and over. It was just that close-up weirdness of that girl going, ah, and I'm like, are we gonna see any more? Like, you guys have been watching this same, not just movie, scene for like,
yeah, the porno they're watching in the hotel room. Oh, that we were talking about that earlier. They have an artistic conversation on adult films, and their thesis is story is important because the more you care about the characters, the more you care about the characters having sex.
Exactly.
And I agree.
I agree.
But that the sex scene with the muscle guy and other lady is wholly indicative of why we should not learn about sex entirely from pornography, because then you end up bouncing on a woman like a trampoline and no one has any fun.
No one has any fun. Like, he's actually going to bend his dick too. He can't be hitting every time.
He has to have precise damn aim.
I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, but
you come in at the wrong angle and oh
oh my god. But yeah, no, I was watching that too, and I'm like, these two obviously have never done a love scene, and the director's obviously never directed one. Like, just wrap your legs around him and hold on tight, girl.
The DP is like, I got nothing.
He's like, I got nothing. I don't even know what to do with this.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'll set the camera there and
or maybe this or okay. I totally want the actual answer to be this sex scene is the one time the director told the DP, no. No, you're not doing that POV shot. Absolutely not. No.
Have you seen... I don't think it's Borat. I don't think I've seen Borat.
I've seen neither of them.
But I know that there is a movie that Sacha Baron Cohen is in with Mark Strong. And for some reason, and I've seen this scene sadly twice in my life, just walking through the living room, and I'm like, ugh, barf. Mark Strong and Sasha somehow find themselves in the rectal cavity of a elephant during mating season.
Okay.
And there is 100% a POV of elephant dingus entering other elephant and fulfilling its role.
Huh.
It might be, and I'm just like, I expected better from you, Mark.
No idea what that even. No, don't know.
I
mean, that doesn't sound like a Borat movie. That
it
sounds
doesn't,
like something else.
But I'm like, what was it?
It sounds like a Tom Green movie.
Rebel Wilson was in it.
Really? I'm gonna have to IMDb it later.
This was a while ago, but I don't know what it is. But anyway, so yeah. So
as we run out of time, I do want to talk about
let's go.
This movie's approach to doing a sequel to From Dusk Till Dawn. Because there's a couple directions that you can go with the sequel. One, you do exactly the same thing. New group of people show up at the bar and fight vampires. Some of them survive and leave in the morning. That's one thing you can do. And that's what this feels like this movie is going to do at first. You kind of assume that
it does, because they go there. Yeah, that's exactly.
It's like, okay, bunch of bank robbers. They're going to end up at the Titty Twister. They're going to spend the night there. They're going to be trapped by vampires.
And I would have been fine with that.
Same movie. Other things you can do is do what the second sequel does, is you do a prequel and you find out, why is the titty twister there? How did it get there? Who are the people? You know, stuff like
Why
that.
is the titty
Yeah.
twister? How is the titty
How?
twister?
Yeah. You could follow the same characters. You could follow George Clooney and who's
Quentin.
the other survivor?
Oh,
Quentin Tarantino died.
he dies. Sorry, wrong one.
The
LL Cool J.
Juliet
Lewis.
Lewis, thank you. Follow those characters and see, you know, he goes to El Rey and it's like, what does he do in El Rey?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You could even have a completely different movie, kind of like what Rob Zombie did with the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses. It follows the Firefly family on a road trip in Free from Hell. No, that was the other one.
Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects. Thank you.
Yeah.
But this one, or you can just take another movie and call it. Just say that the bar they're in is the titty twist, and you call it Dusk Till Dawn too. But this movie feels like it's going to do the first thing, which is you just do the same thing again. But instead, it's like, no, we're going to go do a bank robbery. But some of the characters are vampires. And I think there was a missed opportunity to do kind of the thing, you know, John Carpenter's The Thing kind of a bit where one guy ends up at the titty twister and then you think he dies, but you're thinking, oh, they're going to go get him and end up there, but he comes back and you're like, did they just let him go? Was it not feeding time? Is he a vampire? Can he be trusted? And do some ambiguous bits where you don't know, you're pretty sure one's a vampire, but how many of them now? We know they've been alone with each other at different times. It's like, are any of them vampires? Are 1, 2, 3, 4?
And that's the thing.
That could have been really interesting.
That's the thing that they missed with Pussy Boy is Buck and the wimpy guy are like confidants at the end. Like Buck is like, this is wrong, man. And like, you know, Idiot Boy is just, he's daft and like, oh man. And it would have been, and I
gotta go to the bathroom.
And we watched it, and I was like, he's going to leave, and he's going to turn, and then he's going to come back, and he's not going to realize he turned. And so you already see it. But the point is that they had this swell opportunity of having like, he should have already been one. You shouldn't have let him go, because the minute they aren't together, you're like, well, immediately this is going to happen. But wouldn't it have been something if he already was one, and that was the role he could play, is like, he makes everyone think. But you're right, or
if you don't want to do that, the Thing suspense, are people who they say, you can just go to the titty twister, they become vampires, you know, the first half of the movie they become vampires, and it's like, now what? I mean, we could still rob the bank, and you have bank robbery with vampires. It's like, we have to do it at night now, so that kind of changes things, but we do have some interesting superpowers. So you could, you know, it's still a heist movie, but with vampires. That could be interesting.
But I was wondering, like, do you know, because we did speak about these kind of sequels that were other movies that were written just to be something else, and then was like, ooh, you know, maybe we could just shoehorn you into this franchise to at least give you.
These were written to be sequels of Dusk Till Dawn.
Really? They don't monopolize on it at all.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, they clearly did not have a lot of money. They are direct to videos. So.
Yeah, but like
they're direct to video back in the day when video looked like shit. Oh my god, this movie looks terrible.
Yeah, no, it was not great. But Robert Patrick was mighty young.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm like, wow, he was.
That is a young Robert Patrick. That's a young Danny Trejo. I'm like, oh yeah, the movie's almost 25 years old now, so you know.
Yeah, but I was like, look at him, his fresh little face. I was like,
well, I mean, this was like 7-8 years off of Terminator 2, so.
Well, that is true. Yeah, but anyways, so sequels that it has a sequel and that we didn't know about, maybe.
They do.
That you didn't need to. perhaps. I mean, you win this month, brother.
Yeah, Odd Couple 2 was okay. This one was just bad. It's just not very good. It's still watchable. It's fun to talk about.
Like
but
Odd Couple 2, I had like a
there
full-on
were some
laugh
laughs.
out loud
I had
moment.
some laughs. Yeah.
But
I mean,
did,
we kind of hamstrung ourselves with this talk. There's a sequel. I mean, the odds that we're going to get a good movie out of this we're pretty. The interesting thing I think about our show here at Movie Mandates is rarely are we ever trying to pick a bad movie. That's not really our thing. We're not looking for bad movies.
Have we
we're
fallen into it? Oh yeah.
Oh sure, yeah.
Oh sure.
Which brings us to.
Oh my gosh! Look at you, little segue king.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thusly ends. There's a sequel month. There's a sequel, month. I don't know. But anyways, movie mandates.
Exclamation.
Yes, there you go. Movie mandates, however, is not over. It will continue in January with Mea Culpa, guys. So, brother, do you want to explain Mea Culpa and tell us what your mandated movie is?
Sure. As we were just saying, we don't intentionally pick bad movies because we don't want to watch bad movies. We want to enjoy stuff. We want to, find good things. A lot of the movies we pick are. It's like I've always wanted to see this. This sounds really good. It's like this is we're probably never going to watch anything from like Uwe Boll or Neil Breen or any of that. We're not looking to torture ourselves. We're not going to watch The Room or Birds or Birdemic.
I was like, Hitchcock.
So The Birds is actually good. So Mea Culpa month is our attempt to make up for previous month's failures. Not all the movies we've picked have turned out good. Some of them are great. We've found new favorites through this show.
Yes.
Amadeus comes to mind, is particularly for you. But occasionally we pick movies that just didn't live up to it. And I have to say that for May Day month, where we were doing disaster movies, I picked When Worlds Collide. I'm like, how do you get any more disastery than planets smacking into each other? And you know what? The movie's not terrible, but it's not as good as I mean, this was it's also a classic of sci-fi. So I had really high hopes for this just on premise and its classic status. And the fact that it's name dropped in the Rocky Horror intro song. So Mea Culpa. What can I do to make it up to us? So I've decided to mandate a movie that is the most disastrous heist I think that has ever been committed to celluloid. Not Quick Change, which might have been your first thought. No, I mandate that we watch Dog Day Afternoon.
Attica.
Very good. You know what that's from.
I'm excited. I've never seen Dog Day Afternoon. I'm very excited. This is one of those.
I actually watched the first, I think, 40 minutes of this a couple of weeks ago, and I went, oh my God, this is perfect. So I stopped watching it. So I've only seen the first 40 minutes. It's really good. Maybe it face plants. I don't know, but at least the first 40 minutes are great, and I'm excited to see the rest. So.
Oh, I'm very excited about this. I have high hopes for it. So excellent. If you all would like to watch Attica as well, check out the description, see where it is currently streaming and or available to rent. I don't know why I say and or, it's not even written in front of me. I just say it. But until then, you can watch Movie Mandates on YouTube or listen in podcast form on the iTunes. And if you enjoy the show and would like to help us reach a wider audience, then engagement, please. So you watch on YouTube and you like and subscribe and ring bells. And if iTunes, rate and review and give us stars, and we would be very thankful. Very much. Thank you. And with that, I'm Kelly. You can follow me on Twitters at @Isengard.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen.
And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Movie Mandates, and we will be back again soon with another mandated movie. Bye, everyone.
Bye.